Well, hello again. It's a couple of weeks after my birthday, and I'm sitting here thinking about hope. And hope is a very important thing to have when you have myeloproliferative disorder. 2 years ago, when I was referred to the hematologist, I really hit bottom. My hemoglobin count was about 9.3. I couldn't do much of anything. And I was pretty much assured, in my own mind, that I had the acute myeloid leukemia. Didn't expect to live as long as I am. Well, I went to the first hematologist who'd been treating me for about 14 years. And when he said that he couldn't do much for me and that I was too healthy and I had to be in worse shape before they would start treating me, that really led to a period of depression and also anger. So what did I do? I went and I found the treatment that he said was there on an experimental basis by becoming a patient in a clinical trial. Well, the drug works, and the doctors are interested in quality of life issues. So as a result, after 1 year, I was able to accomplish the thing that I felt I would never do at the time I was so down and depressed. And that was complete my book and put together my package for teaching children and adults alike about the wonders of nature. On March 5th this year, we had a great event. This was a celebration of my #1 item on the bucket list, Goldilocks Ecology Method of Scientific Education. We invited friends, family, collaborators, and the world at large to announce that Henry's greatest dream was now accomplished.
When first time I met Henry, it was about 20 years ago, was when I first came to this museum. And here was this wildly enthusiastic man talking about he just recently retired and bought a lot of really expensive video equipment, and he was going to make all these videos for the museum, and I was delighted. And actually went out to his house and he showed me the equipment, and he got started. And he showed me a couple of his first videos, and they were not so good.
You're being generous.
And I told him so, and we talked about it, and we talked about ways in which he could improve. And one of the most endearing qualities of Henry is that he has a kind of childlike naivete. He really doesn't know what he can't do. And another quality is that he is extremely determined. And if he can't do it the first time, he'll do it the second or the third or the 20th or the 50th. He just keeps going at it. And devoted, just throwing himself into the project. And over the years, I began to see these videos really, really improving in quality to the point where they're very professional. And we're looking forward to using some of them in our Habitat Journey exhibition as we get that up and going, and perhaps linking up websites and sharing some of those. Well, then he came up with the idea he wanted to do a children's book, Goldilocks Ecology. And by this time, Henry had gotten his really bad health prognosis, and he's on a scooter. Again, I mean, he doesn't know what he can't do, so if he can't walk, he's going to scoot or crawl or whatever it takes. So he asked me if I would edit his children's book, Goldilocks Ecology. And I took it home, and I spent a lot of time on it. And it actually had more of my comments in red ink on it than his original comments. And I thought to myself, now how on earth are you going to tell somebody who's on a scooter, not doing very well health-wise, that he needs help with this? But I did. I told him. I just straight out told him And he looked at me, and what I suggested is that he get some help with an editor that writes children's books. And he said, that's a really good idea. And he took the comments to heart that I had made, and he had others look over and help him edit. Next thing I know, Henry's walking into my office. The scooter's long gone, and he's back full bore on it. And just last week, he told me it was up on the website, and I went and looked at it, and wow, what a tremendous change from the first time that I laid eyes on it. And it's really good, and it will be really useful. And the videos that you and your team have put together will be extremely valuable for the education of kids and adults alike. And Henry, I'm just proud to be wearing the green shirt, proud to be your friend, and just delighted that you just didn't tell me to go to heck and go on that.
Go to hell.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but you can. But he just, again, it's just one of those endearing qualities about him. He doesn't know what he can't do. He's just determined he's going to get it done. He seeks out the help he needs to get it done, and it's a wonderful success story. And Henry, I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of your whole team. Thank you.
This thing alone, he kept fiddling with it. I said, Henry, just leave him alone. We had a bee that we put in the refrigerator and put it in front of the praying mantis so it would sort of recover. And Henry just had to stay there and keep focused the whole time. And the praying mantis had his eye on Henry the whole time. Wouldn't ask him anything. So I said, Henry, get out of the room. As soon as Henry left, he had the thing on a tripod and focused on it. And he's very proud of something that he did when he wasn't even in the room. That praying mantis got after that recovering bee, and I thought that was a cool moment. And so Henry had me down on my knees next to this plant that had a nectaring pepsis wasp on it. So that wasp is taking care of business, and my head is like 6 inches away from that wasp. And we got a pretty nice video out of that.
It was good footage.
And then I learned from Michael Wall that there's a guy named Schmidt who put together a scale of the degree of awfulness of various stings. He got himself stung by a bee, various kinds of wasps, ants, you name it. And he marked it on a little scale. And I learned after that video that the pepsis wasp that we were videoing, 6 inches from my nose, was one of the highest on the scale. I think he mentioned the bullet ant in South America is the only insect on the planet that caused him more grief than that pepsis wasp. So, thank you, Henry.
You're welcome.
And the Glenyon evening you've already heard about. The equipment was uncooperative. The fish were uncooperative. Henry was very uncooperative. The weather was uncooperative. It was cold, but it was one of our best nights. So, I'm done.
He really can't spell, and he doesn't mind telling you. And I get files from him, and I have to go, and with web stuff, nobody likes doing it because it requires an incredible level of precision. If you spell something wrong, it doesn't work. And so, of course, he'll just, give me something, and this will be named one way, this will be named another, and then I've tried to teach him how you can't have these characters in the name and those characters in the name. So it's been a challenge in that respect because, like I say, with the web and trying to keep everything organized, it requires a lot of precision.
I still haven't learned.
No, you won't. It's not going to happen.
Me,
You,
at last.
Me at last. Me
the
at
boss.
last.
The boss.
My grandson Robbie claims that I am his most active Facebook friend. He should know he has more than 500 of them. Now I'm creating a monster. I'm turning Henry into a Facebook fanatic. Who's on Facebook here? Raise your hand.
Wait a minute. Who's not on Facebook?
Who's not? We're hoping that teachers and nature nuts will use this as a valuable resource and share experiences, lesson plans, and homework assignments, making use of Goldilocks Ecology, a free ebook on the web. The end.
The next morning, the family all got together for a breakfast, and it was wonderful having that event. Robbie and Amber put together a slideshow that was to roast Grandpa and Grandma, and they did this, and everybody had a good time at my expense. And it was a wonderful time. It was amazing that I had this much energy. Thanks to the doc for giving me a little extra blood for this whole weekend. Amber is very creative, and when she was a junior in high school, what she did was, for an art class, sculpted me, and it's her rendition of Poppy that has been used as the graphic to introduce these videos.
That you get to continue to access that because it's something that you experienced, and because of your energy and the combination of you and Jean and Dawn and I are so happy that we could participate in helping to make that happen for you, and that continues to nurture you, as so many people do in unique ways of being able to find those quality elements that have been shared and focus on those as opposed to some of the other negative or depressing kinds of sentiments regarding the disease process.
I'm glad you brought that up. Making this video has gotten me very focused on the disease again, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about it. I've been doing a lot of talking about it. I've probably been boring people. But you want to know something? Every successful person I've seen who copes with this disease does not give an organ recital. What do I mean by an organ recital? That's where everybody sits around and talks about their organs and what their sickness is. The successful people who cope with this disease are interested in life and living it to the fullest and having to put up with what they have to put up with the disease.